I'm so upset right now. I literally just recorded a good 30 minutes of this and my audio wasn't on. So here we are. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the second podcast episode. Hi, everyone. Hello and welcome back. I'm so sorry for this late video. I've already filmed this, but I didn't like it, and so much more has happened that I didn't want to wait for another week because more will happen, I'm sure, in a week for me to talk about. But in this episode, I just wanted to also clarify real quick. I will probably be jumping around. It's my ADHD. I'm also really awful at speaking, getting my thoughts together. This entire week, I have been thinking about how I want to phrase everything, and things I want to talk about. And then now that I'm here in front of the camera, because I didn't write anything down, I will probably be very jumping around. I'll probably have to edit this a whole bunch just to make I'm not Anyways, guys, this week I wanted to talk about a lot. I want to talk about politics. I want to talk about mostly dealing with toxic people in our lives, whether that's family or friendships, which I both have had a lot of interactions with because I have just attracted the worst. I don't want to say the worst people. That's a very harsh term to use. Negative. Is that a nicer word to use? Negative people in my life. We'll start with family. I grew up so incredibly poor. My parents were very bad addicts. Awful. Parents were always beating on each other, fighting, doing meth, having sex everywhere. It was constantly just something all the time. And I guess we'll begin. Let me just tell a story. So I don't want to give too much detail on my family, but my dad and mom got together. My mom was 13 and my dad was 18, I think. She might have been 12. I don't know. She might have been 14, 15. Anyways, but also, okay, I can't tell too much. Actually, I don't know if I can or if I should. I don't know. My dad is just not a good person, and if he sees this, I don't know. I don't speak to him, but he's better now, I think. I don't know. Anywho, so I grew up very poor, and so this one time, whenever me and my siblings were, well, my sister mostly raised me and my brother because, again, my parents were always cracked out, with the tinfoil and just doing their own thing. So my sister mostly took care of me and my brother, and it was constantly every night growing up with them. So I lived with my parents from, I guess, being born to fourth grade. So this was circa 20, what is this? 15, 14? Yes, I think 2014, 2015. No, 2014, 2013, 2014, around that time, okay? Because my dad got really bad on meth, and after got done, this is probably the worst he had ever been, and he was got done just beating on my mom for a good week straight, and honestly, she should have stood up and started fighting him back, because I do not know why she let a man throw her around, up everywhere, bashing her face up against the counter, throwing her. I just don't get it. And she was a baddie too, and she used to fight people back in the day. She really did. And I just don't know why she never stood up and beat the... Anyways, so I'm getting sidetracked again. And so my dad was really bad on the meth, and he was up for a week straight, did not sleep. So he was really crazy. Also in this time, me and my mom were really close. I was really close with my mom at one point of time. And she was like, Gabriel, we have to go look for something. And I was like, okay, girl. And so we're just looking around the house. I was like, what are we looking for? And she was like, shh. She was like, I will let you know when we find it. She's like, if you see something suspicious, let me know. And I'm like, okay. So we search the entire inside of the house. We don't find anything. Then we go outside. We're searching around. And again, we lived in a very country area. we had a few neighbors or whatever, but it was just a weird environment. Anyways, we had this like under porch area, and there was like it was like blocked off. So there was like stairs. So it was like a house that was converted into an apartment back to a house. Okay. So you walk outside, and if you go around back, there was like a porch, there was like a stairs coming up, and then there was like a porch. And so there was like a little underneath area that you could like go in. And that's where like my dad has kept all his like storage stuff and like stolen belongings. And so we went into there, and we found 3 big garbage bags, 3 big white garbage bags full of spray paint. And if you do not know about spray paint huffing, you pretty much you just spray it, and like all like the gas in it gets you high. So I want to quote this exactly because I got this wrong. I posted this on TikTok, and my sister was sure to let me know, or she commented on it and corrected me. So let's do this reenactment. So whenever my dad came home from work, maybe, my mom says, "You've been huffing paint!" Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. And then my dad says, "No, Mom, you have gold shit on your lips," which he did. I do remember this. He did have gold on his mouth. And then he wipes his mouth and he says, "No, I don't." And it was just like a funny thing. And then she got beat on for that, I do believe. Anyways, and then there was another time we lived in this like little trailer, when I tell you, in the middle of nowhere in the woods. Okay, it was truly just awful. We had a tree growing through it. There was mushrooms everywhere. There was like no actual flooring. It was just like the baseboard as the floor. And my dad also had a little cutout in one of the back rooms in the main bedroom of this little trailer. And so if the cops come, he could escape, or he could hide in it. But like honestly, there was like no flooring, so it was kind of obvious that there was like a big cutout right there. I don't know, it wasn't the brightest, must have been the math. I don't know. So at this time, again, they were fighting really bad, and my dad gets a 2x4. If you don't know what a 2x4 is, it's like a long piece of like wood that you use to like frame out houses with. Okay, so they're like this big. If you are like an audio listener right now, I'm so sorry. Is there hair on my microphone? Hello? Okay. It's like this, and it's like really long. So it's like 2 inches by like 4 feet, I think. Yeah. So he gets on top of the car because my mom's either trying to leave or trying to get out of the car, and he starts beating her with this. Okay. And they're just fighting, and me and my siblings were like, "Oh my God, here we go again. It's something constantly." So he's beating her down with his 2x4, and again, they're fighting. And so I call the cops my little flip phone that I had, and I get in trouble for it. They're like, "Gabriel, what the fuck would you call the fucking cop?" So I got in trouble for that. And we got in the car and we drove around. And this is just many of stories, okay? Like, I can barely remember them, but I know there's a whole bunch, okay? These are just ones that really stick out to me. So annoying. But back to the other one where my dad was up for the days straight or whatever. So that night, 2 days prior, my mom left. She left me and my siblings with my cracked out father. And we were all scared. We were trembling. And also take note, one of my last days at school, I remember like having my bags ready, like, just trying to like keep a good face on for whenever I go to school. So that way I'm not like shaken up, because I just witnessed my dad beat on my mom for like a good like 10 hours, And I remember I walked down the stairs and, I'm like, "Have a great day." Like, I'm off to school, gonna go down to the school bus. And he looks at me and he says, my father, he says, "The way you all were crying last night, I just wanted to beat the fuck out of you all." And, I was just like, "Well," and I said, okay. So after that day, oh my God, I think I do remember something, because I think this girl who I used to be friends with, she says, "One of the last things you said to me before you left," this is later on, like this is like a few years ago when she told me this, she was like, "One of the last things you told me was how your dad shattered a mirror and was like something else." And she's like, "And then I never heard from you again and you just disappeared." I said, Yep. And after that, we came home And my dad was again crazy that night. He was screaming, throwing shit. We really thought we were gonna get murdered. Like we actually did. And so back to the layout of the house. We were upstairs. How I said there was a porch and it led down or whatever. We had like a big, like heavy duvet blanket because it was so ghetto. It was ghetto. So we had a big blanket that covered this like back door to this porch that led down. And so while my dad was like screaming and this like he was like going crazy. So me and my siblings, well, my sister, she was like again the protector, and she was like trying to like sneak out to like unlock this door, and the whole duvet comes down, and it does make a kind of a loud noise, like a heavy noise. And so my sister yanks open the door. So me and my siblings, we start like running out and escaping, and my dad like sees us through like the kitchen window because we're like running by it. So he starts screaming, and then we like run to like over to this empty house like that's right next to us. And there's also a fire department right there. And so the adrenaline is running, and no one who is like, I was doing what I was like, what, 10 years old? I think 10 years old, maybe younger. I don't know. But he was just like, so he was like, we hear him run out, and he's like, Aiden and Bethany. Oh, he says my siblings' names. And then we like, my sister's friends were there, and they come picked us up, and then they dropped us off at our grandfather. And he brought us back the next day. Then social workers came, and then we moved with my crazy step grandparents. No, that was crazy. So I didn't speak to my father. I saw him like maybe once or twice while I lived there. And then my grandparents were wanting, they're a whole other separate story that that's a whole story that you know what, let's go into. Oh my God, my camera cut off right whenever I started. So great. So my grandparents were just truly awful people growing up, and we are going to talk about them because I haven't really spoke out on what happened to live with my grandparents. And you know, if my other family members see this, good. If my grandmother and step grandfather see this, good, and more. And for my aunt's kids, who are the other ones, I hope they see this too, to know what kind of people you all are. You're all sick and truly evil people, and you're all disgusting. Predators, literally. Anyways, let's get into it. So whenever I first moved in with my grandparents, we were not supposed to be there for long. And I ended up being there for 7 years, which ended in them wanting to put me in foster care and get rid of me because they already got rid of my sister and brother. But we'll get into there. So let's explain something about the house that we lived in or whatever. So the basement was getting redone because it flooded at one point, and they never got it fixed their entire time there. So me and my brother shared a bed when we lived there. And so you walk into the living room or whatever, you walk through another doorway, you're in the kitchen in like a small like little nook area with like a small like circle dining table. I don't know. And then if you go like right here this way, you'll see a half door, like a door cut in half because it was originally a dog room or whatever. And that's where mine and my brother's bed was. So anyone walking by can see us sleeping, can see anything. And so right attached to that was the sunroom. And again, it was another big opening with a back door. And also in the dining room that was mine and my brother's room, there was a doorway to the garage. Okay. It's very crucial that you have a good idea of this layout. Okay, so when we lived there, me and my siblings were not allowed to miss a day of school whatsoever. I would always get awarded every year for perfect attendance, which was so just like, whatever. So my sister, when she turned 18, she wanted to go to a party, and there was a whole situation. Hang on. Let me call her. Now for Bethany's side of the story on what happened to her.
Okay, it all started. So I was only in, it was my half of my senior year. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. Junior year, senior year, one of the two, whatever. And I had a friend that wanted to hang out. And so the phone that I had at the time, it just wasn't like working. Like it would connect to the Wi Fi, but then it wouldn't connect to the Wi Fi. So it's like, that was the only way I could use my phone, Wi Fi. And so every time they would message, I couldn't receive it because my phone just kept messing up. And then my grandmother said, if it comes to a certain time, I'm not leaving, that I couldn't leave. And I was like, girl, you done told me I can leave. And like my friend is on their way. Like, not going to do that. Have them come from Lexington, like, to Richmond and just, like, oh, sorry, never mind. No. And so I told her I was still going to go to school the next day. And finally, my phone worked, and they're like, hey, we're outside. I was like, okay, so, like, they said I couldn't go, but, like, they're already here. I'm just going to dip. So I grabbed my backpack, and I left, and let's just say they were pissed. They weren't happy, my grandmother. And so I did tell her I was still going to go to school, but did I go? No, I did not. In my defense, though, I only missed one day of school. That was then. And this was school started in August. This was like October, November. First time missing, whatever. And so I came back, knocked on the door, and her husband was like, "Can I help you?" I was like, "What do you mean? Can you help me?"
Step grandfather.
Like not our grandfather. He's just there.
Step.
And so I'm like, I live here. Like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, I got your stuff packed. I'm like, the fuck? Like, what do you, like, you're mad because I missed one day of school and I said that even though I said I was going to go, which, yeah, I probably should have went, but, like, I'm in high school. Like, I am a teenager. Like, I'm 28 now. At the time, I was, like, 17, 18-ish, whatever. And so, like, you make mistakes, but then again, I never got to be a child, so it is what it is. So they dropped me off at my actual papa's house, and of course, my papa was different then than how he is now, and so it was it was pure hell after that. So I didn't get to finish graduating or anything. I tried enrolling myself, even though I was 18. School wouldn't do it unless I had my mother or my dad. That wasn't happening with either one. So, nope, never got to finish high school. But I got my GED in 2019, so yay, there's that.
Period.
Is there anything else you need me to?
Is there anything else you want to say?
What else is there you'd like for me to say?
Do you have any stories you'd like to tell about anything? I already gave a few domestic stories.
So it's like family related stories.
Yeah, I'm on my family segment right now.
You talk about mom.
We haven't gotten to that era yet. We just got out of childhood. Now we're into grandparents. We haven't got to.
So we haven't got to that part.
We haven't got to that part yet.
Okay.
Should I call you back for that? Or do you want to tell it now and I'll just edit it in for later?
No, we can do it later.
Okay, I'll just.
So this is like a grandparent thing.
Well, then I'm doing a leading up. I'm doing like the family, how they all been. People in our family are truly just evil and disgusting people. Like actually truly.
Yeah, just like when I was in the hospital having my baby, not one family member came besides my aunt, but that was just, I think, out of like pity.
We'll get into her in a minute.
I mean, and of course, I'm the most hatefulest and probably angriest person ever, but so forgiving. So, like I forgave. Like, yeah, you can come to the hospital, see my baby. Because, here I am with a heart and felt bad. Just for it.
I would have been there, you all, but I live states away.
So it's like, whatever. So my poor little baby has to grow up with no family members. And
that's for the best. Fuck them.
Even her dad's family. Fuck them too. So.
Well, Bethany, thank you so much for joining today.
You're welcome. Any more story times? We'll get it.
Coming soon. Okay, I love you. Love you. Bye-bye. So that's that part for my sister's part. So nextly, my step-grandfather was very weird towards me. He would often ask me to whip it out and to show him. Never did. And he would also ask me to give him throat at the age of, doesn't matter what age, I was still young, a child. And of course, also take note, my grandmother married this man for his money. Truly, me and her were laying out in the pool one day, and she was like, I never wanted to be with him. But all my friends in the trailer park told me like I wouldn't get out if I didn't accept his offer. And so that's what she did. And I respect the hustle, but whenever you choose a predator man over your actual family, because me and my grandmother, we were literally so close, like truly I consider her as my best friend at one point. And it was just crazy that for what's to come, it'll all make sense. So my step grandfather was just really weird, just an awful person. So after my sister got kicked out, like a few years later, me and my brother, we were next to my brother gets kicked out. So me and my brother were getting ready for school, or we were like waiting for the bus. And my step grandfather gets up, storming through the house or whatever, going to make his big, tall glass of milk that we would always have to go fetch for him all the time. Okay. And so my brother was just like sitting like on like the island, like little chair or whatever. And my step grandfather walks by and like hits his legs. And my brother, he was like, "Oh, sorry." And then my step grandfather said to him, I'm trying to like remember, he was like, "Can you move your fucking legs," or something like that. And my brother, he was just like, "What's your problem?" And then they get into a big fight, but not really a big fight. It's just my step grandfather. He's like, "You can get the out of my house then." And it was like literally the most like craziest thing. And so my brother did. And then I lived there for a little bit longer. My grandmother like would be gone a lot more. So my step grandfather, he would constantly tell me how I only care about myself, how I'm just like a piece of shit, and truly would just belittle me the entire time. And I would like literally cry myself to sleep every night. And I would literally have the worst panic attacks in the world. Like I would be like on the ground, like it was really bad. I haven't had panic attacks like that in a very long time. And I've like learned to really manage my emotions. That was like 2020 whenever that happened. So I moved out in 2020 when COVID happened, because they were just tired of me and they said I was just like awful and they wanted to put me in foster care. So I moved out and then I moved with my sister and lived with her for 6 months. And take note, I had not spoken to my father in a very long time. And so he lived in this very small town in Kentucky and he had went through rehab and he had been clean for like 4 years and I had no other option. So I moved to the small little town in Kentucky in the mountains away from everyone during COVID. And it was just like the concept. And it was a very big change for me. I went from like a big city kind of, it's called Richmond, Kentucky. That's where I'm from. If you know it, you know it. That's where I'm from. That's where I lived. And then I moved to a very small town in the mountains on the border of West Virginia, if that says anything. Lord, that was crazy in itself. That's for a whole other time. But I lived with him. He became the type of person who how do I explain this? He's a conspiracy theorist. That's for one. And he would always talk about how he wanted a big family, but would only ever talk about conspiracies. He wouldn't go out of his way to act like a family or be like a family. Whenever my sister would come down and visit, he would just like lock himself in his room and then talk about his conspiracies and like just be upset all the time and always trying to make a fight, like constantly, and like such a narcissist. And he would always tell me like, "You only care about yourself." And I'm like, it's not like I had a parent in my life to care about me. I was like, so I'm all I've ever had. So it was a whole big thing. He would always be like, "Are you on drugs?" And I'm like, Are you on drugs? So there was that. And then I just moved away. I lived with him for 3 years. Oh my God, there's like a bug in here because my window's like open. It won't leave me alone. But I lived with him for a few years. He was a bit better. He was really annoying though. Me and him were so opposite and we did not get along in like anything. And it was just him like always picking fights with me for literally no reason. Like I would like clean and he would like, "You stole stuff from me." And I'm like, "No, I didn't." And so he put like locks on his door, like 3 deadbolt, like not deadbolts, like and then you like put a little lock on it. That's what he put on there because he thought I was stealing from him. My camera keeps stopping, and so I'm sorry if I have to put a blackout screen while the audio does its thing. I am truly incredibly sorry. So he would constantly put locks. Well, he would always like lock it, and like I would just be like watching him, like he would like lock the doorknob, and he'd like lock his 2 deadbolts, and I was just like, and he was like, "Oh, just in case someone breaks in," because he always thought someone was coming for him or like the government, and it was just like, oh my God. Or like gifted something, he would like end up taking it back. So anything he ever got me for Christmas or a birthday, he would complain about it. And so like I remember I got an iMac. He got me an iMac one year. And I ended up getting a laptop, and he complained for like weeks on how I had two things. He's like, oh, you don't need those. You don't need this. He's like, you have all these nice things. And he was like, I just have my shitty little laptop. And I was just like, oh my God. And so I ended up giving him the iMac that he gave me because he would just complain about it. And then he also, one year, he didn't really give me much, okay, but I don't care because I didn't want anything from him. I literally would not take money from him. I would not do anything because this would be a constant thing or whatever. He's like, why didn't you ever let me buy you things? And I'm like, leave me alone. He's like, oh, you're just embarrassed to be seen with me. I was like, I am. I am. You're crazy. I was like, you will literally flip out in a store, have a whole meltdown. And he would also start like hitting on my brother ever so often. And like he got into big fights. That's a whole other situation. And my neighbors would always, okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. Backtrack. So he got me like a sound healing bowl because we're both like as spiritual, but he's just like crazy or whatever. And so he got me like a sound healing bowl, which I really liked. I was like, oh my God, like actually like, okay. He got me it though, like after he forgot my birthday, like after 2 days, he was like, happy birthday. And I said, my birthday was like 2 days ago. And he was like, oh, well, I took the day off today for your birthday. I said, oh, okay. And he just locked himself in the room again. I said, okay. And he ended up swapping out that healing bowl he got me for like a cheap one he had that did not work. It was like made out of like plastic or something. I don't know. Like they looked the same, but you could tell like it just wasn't. And he swapped them out and took mine. I said, okay. And I could swore there was something else that he took. I don't think it's anything that important because I don't remember it. But oh, I think him and my brother got me a TV for Christmas. And he complained that I had that. So I was like, oh my God, whatever. But I still had that. But then the house burnt down not long ago. So he's doing somewhere. Ever since I moved out, I have not spoke to him since. I have suspicions he's on drugs again. But at the end, before my brother also lived with us, ended up moving in with us. And him and my brother worked together, and he would end up like hitting on my brother all the time because my brother would be like, oh, have a normal conversation. And my dad would like get mad or something. He would think he was bringing up the past and how he was like abusive back then, but then like would start like beating on my brother if he like said something. And before my brother moved out, my dad got him a little action figure of this like character that he didn't like. Sorry guys, if I keep like zooming in, I'm checking my camera just to make sure we're recording here. So my dad got my brother this action figure, and my brother has said specifically many times that he did not like this character, and my dad got it for him. And so my brother, he was like, oh, like, thanks. He was like, but like, I think he said like, why this character or something like that. And my dad flips out on him. And then he like gets up in my brother's face. He was like, you want to be a man? You want to be a man? Like, he's like, put him up. And I'm like, this is actually so crazy. So I was in the room underneath, okay? And I just hear like loud thudding sounds, and I hear my brother scream. He's like, help, help. And so I run upstairs, and by the time like I was like nervous, I was like, okay, maybe like I shouldn't go up there because it's like I don't know, like I don't know. But turns out my brother was just screaming just because my dad like grabbed him and like threw him across the room, my brother. And so my brother moved out, and then I moved out a week later because like and my dad was playing the victim after. He was like, we both were in the wrong. It's like, no, not once in your life do you need to put your hands on a kid, especially like even if they're grown. You do not put your hands on literally anyone for that matter. So, father, if you see this, get help. Oh my God, he even got baptized just to prove a point to people. He said, he was like, it'll get me more business. Like, oh my, the concept. So also in this time, whenever I was 16, we found out that my sister and mother were in a car wreck. My mom died in it, and my sister, she survived. Here we are. I would call her back, but we won't right now. Anyways, so that's just a little fun fact. So my mom died whenever I was 16. Me and her didn't really talk that much. Well, we did, but like one of the last things that me and her talked about was like a big argument on how she didn't think I was gay or whatever. And I was just like, girl, not too much on me. Not too much. I said, you do crack. So that was that. I think that was one of the last conversations. No, I think she was talking about like how something bad's going to happen in the world or something. She had like predictions because she was also like spiritual, you know. So I need to move on to my other family because this has just, I hate everyone. I truly hate everyone in my family. They're all evil. So also my dad had did some crazy stuff to, I don't want to say too much, but you can kind of maybe infer rumors on him doing things to people in my family that weren't so consensual. Rumor has it. Okay? Take what you want from that. Mm. So, fun fact. So my dad is the big cause on why my family all hates each other. So my grandmother was in my mom's mom. So whenever I talk about my family, I don't know anyone on my dad's side. So it's all about my mom's side. So well, they're all crazy on my dad's side. They were like doing some satanic like ritual shit, like crazy, like evil demonic people. Like I don't the concept of the evil beings. Uh. So let me think. Okay. So my aunt, my mom's sister. Oh, no. Backtrack. So my grandma was in love with my dad, and like it was my dad and his two other brothers or whatever. They would come hang out with my grandma. They'd party and do drugs together, while like my mom was like taking care of her two sisters because my grandma was out doing like drugs with my dad and his siblings. Okay, so my grandmother made a rule to him. She said, she's like, just don't get with my daughters. Don't do anything with my daughters, okay? So my grandma would make love letters to my father or whatever. And she found out that my mom, at the age of 13, maybe 12, I don't know, a very young age while he was 18, got her pregnant. Okay, so that created some beef with my mom and my grandma, her mother. So this is also the time frame where my dad reportedly did things with people of my family. There's that. Now moving on to closer, more situations. So I have tried reaching out to my family because I've tried to find peace and just having some sort of normality because again my entire family life has been so chaotic, and I've never truly had peace with family. I've never really had family whatsoever. Me and my sister, we call every day. She's like, love her. So my aunt, my mom's sister, I was like, she's the closest thing to my mom. And I grew up talking to her a whole bunch. Me and her would have deep conversations. And I really thought that me and her were really close. So take note, my mom got cremated, okay? And whenever we had our celebration of life, my family gave me and my siblings the wrong location of where they were having it at, the ceremony. So we go to this place where we are reportedly told it's here. We go there. There's no one there. I said, okay. So we already know that there's some corrupt people and that they gave us the wrong location. So we drive by my grandparents' house, whom we all left, moved out of. They had it there and didn't tell us. So we messaged them. They're like, oh my God, I think we thought we told you. And then later on, they're like, oh, they were scared that like you guys were going to like say something to them. And it's like, okay, so they're aware that they're awful people. They're aware. They're aware that we want to knock the concept, truly. Guys, I'm so sorry if I keep like leaning in and like checking. Like, I just want to make sure that it's like recording. So there was that. So me and my aunt, we tried talking to her so often, and then she just completely ghosted. And I tried reaching out to her, and she just never would respond. And then she came back around for my sister when she had her baby. And then ghosted again. Okay? So in recent times, I'm fed up because I'm like, they were supposed to bury my mom's ashes. Never happened. They haven't been doing anything with that. And I'm like, okay, so give my mom's ashes to my sister or bury the ashes. Like, I don't know, because you all were not in her lives. You guys did not help her when she was homeless. You guys did not give her money, which my sister did all of that. You all had no single part of her life whatsoever, except for making it worse. Okay? So, recent times, I let me pull up messages because these people are grown, by the way. Take note. Take note. They are grown. Oh my god, I don't have Facebook Messenger anymore. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I can't read these messages, but I'm not fibbing. I'm gonna try to tell everything to as best as I remember. So I messaged my aunt and I'm like, hey. No, I messaged my grandma first and I'm like, hey, like, give Bethany the ashes, like say this whole thing. I'm like, or else I will get lawyers involved. I will. I don't care to. So my grandmother doesn't respond to me. I think she blocks me. And then my aunt messaged me. She says, don't ever threaten me again. You don't know the family I married into. Take note. They're all crackheads and just like weird. Like my aunt's husband has two Republican lesbian, like his sister is like a Republican lesbian. Like they're just weird people. Okay. Like I don't fuck with that ignorance. And so we're going back and forth, and she's like, why are you being so mean to me? And I'm like, why are you so incompetent? Like, I just don't understand. Okay, so we're going back and forth, and then her husband messages me, and he is literally, take note, like in their 50s. And I am truly having normal conversation. I'm just like, if you guys can't do a simple thing, like let me, my sister, take care of it. Because if you all can't, it's taken like 5 years for y'all to do. You guys can't even do it. So give it to me and my sister. Let us deal with it. And we will all just move on with our lives. Okay? I say this all peacefully. Like we're going back and forth. And then her husband calls me. And he's like, little boy, come out here, fight me, pull up, like literally screaming. I'm like, wow. By the way, take note, I'm in the car with someone, and so they're listening to this. I really wish I got it on camera. I truly do, because I kid you not, I wish I was making this up. This grown ass ex crackhead man screaming for me to come pull up and fight him. All because I want my mom's ashes. Like, I think this is so crazy. And I'm like, literally, I'm like, you pill headed junkie. Like, the concept of this. I said, wow. I said, you all truly have a lot of growing to do. Like, grow up and act your age, please. And then I hang up and block them. And guess what? My aunt, she's like, I'm going to use my kids' Christmas money and we're finally going to get done and my kids are going to go without. Take note, their kids, they are doing wonderful. They have everything they could want, I think. But like for growing up, they got every toy they wanted. Love them though. Love you girls. Hope you guys are so good. If you guys see this, love you. Hate to talk ill on your parents, truly, but they're not good people. And guess what? They still didn't do it. The mom has still not been buried whatsoever. And then my aunt came by, my sister's, and she was like, did you hear about what happened? And she was like, yeah, I did. And then my sister's like, how would you all feel if you all died and someone else kept your ashes away from your kids? And there's the, oh, we wouldn't stand for it. We wouldn't stand for that. We wouldn't let that happen. It's like, okay, then what are you doing right now, you fucking hypocrite? Like, I truly just don't understand the concept. The concept. And also take note, my aunt over text, whenever this whole argument was happening, she's like, I have severe depression and anxiety. It's like, what does that have to do with the situation? Like, I said, don't we all? I said, girl, everything you got, I got too. And you don't hear me making an excuse about it. I said, get a new therapist. I don't know. Fuck. I was like, if this is too stressful for you to deal with, give it to someone else to deal with. Like, I don't understand. I truly don't. It doesn't make sense. So there was that. There was that situation. There was that. And still hasn't been buried. Still haven't heard anything from them. And they went back to ghosting. As they should, though, because they are truly just embarrassing people. Oh! Never mind. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that because that incriminates. But not me. Them. Anyhow. So that's my segment on my little toxic family, because I've just been surrounded by such toxic family members my entire life, where I've had to grow up in like, social media really helped me. But it helped me and didn't help me in a lot of ways. But just being able to, I guess, grow with people online and like learning from other people on like what not to do and how to like, I guess I try my best to be a good person. You know, everyone makes mistakes, and I've truly have messed up so much in the past, which I do regret a whole bunch. And we're still growing and learning. Even recently, I've been trying to work on my not anger. I don't get mad too often, but like let's say something because here's what happened. So I was trying to cut a potato with a knife because I couldn't find like the skinner, and then I also couldn't find the cheese grater. So I was like a little annoyed because I was wanting to make little hash browns. I was wanting to make little hash browns, and I was getting stressed because like it slipped out my hand. I kept almost cutting myself, and I literally just wanted to like slam my hands down. It's like just be mad, and I literally stopped myself like mid like in the air like I'm about to do it, like smack the table, and I'm like breathe. I'm like breathe, breathe. So even now at 21, I am still trying to learn to like control all those emotions that which people in my lives have not been able to control, and it's been okay. you know, it's been fine. Yeah, I somehow always attract the worst possible people, even in friendships. We'll move on to friendships because there is this. Since I don't really have family, I have taken my friendships with people. I count those as family. Okay, I. See, I'm not gonna do. Ew, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry because I get very passionate about. Okay, so my camera did die, so now we're on my phone now. Okay, I had some time to kind of work on myself a little bit before I got emotional. Um, Friendships have been family to me. Whenever I find friends, people who I cherish, I take friendships to my heart, to my soul. So whenever I, okay, okay. I'm gonna start with an easy one. So I have this wonderful friend, Madison. We're gonna name drop her. Madison has been my ride or die. She has been probably my like first ever real friend I've ever made. I've had a few friends, but she has been the most consistent and probably made the like her and her family have truly made the biggest impact in my life. And we went through a lot together, me and Madison, especially for this other friendship that we were in with this guy. This guy has said, this guy's so crazy. Oh my goodness, he's so crazy. And people believe him and trust this man. And if anyone who is from the town where this guy is, and if you're listening to this, truly, like, out of all the crazy people I've had in my life, this man I am truly scared of. I don't want to say scared. I'm scared for other people to be around and for other people to deal with this kind of person, this kind of entity. I truly don't know. Like, it's actually so scary. So me and Madison, whenever we started college together, on the first day, I had a roommate who dropped out, okay? And so I had my room all by myself, my dorm room, and me and Madison decide to go to this little movie night. And we go there, we're sitting, there's not many people there, and we see this guy who is sitting like a table over, and I look at Madison and I'm like, should we invite him over? Like, he looks lonely. Like, we've heard about this guy before, okay? Because he's like known in the town. And so I feel bad because he's sitting alone. He looks like he doesn't know anyone. And we invite him to come sit with us. And he's like, yeah. And then we're all chit-chatting. We're having a great time. And he explains how his roommate he has at this time, they made like homophobic like remarks to him. They like threatened him. And I was like, I won't feel right if I let you stay in that environment. I was like, my roommate didn't show up. I don't have a roommate anymore. We are going to go to public safety. We're going to go to housing and we're going to get you moved in with me. Worst mistake of my entire life. Take note. So things are good. Madison, if you're listening to this, please do not take this the wrong way whatsoever, okay? So Madison and this guy, we'll call him like Adam. We'll call him Adam. her and Adam have a lot more of a closer relationship than me and her, okay? And again, I don't mind. I get it. We all have some people who we like vibe with more. We all have more just an aura, you know? Like with me and Madison, we do not touch each other. Like we're not affectionate. With her and him, they were like they like to hug, like like it's fine, like it's fine. Like it's just an aura thing. Like I totally fine. Like I was not bothered by this whatsoever. So everything's great, dandy, and then I'm trying to think if something happens. No, okay. I'm also in a take note. I'm also in a relationship with Sky at the time, and I'm really never at the dorm room. Okay, I'm never spending the night there. Um, I just am not really vibing with it. Okay, not vibing with it. I'm always with my ex, and I spend the night ever there. Oh my god, I'm struggling. I'm struggling. So I'm always spending the night with him, constantly. I'm also working at this time. I think I'm working like 2 jobs, maybe, or I'm just working a job. I don't know. I think at one point I was working 2 jobs, whatever. So I'm constantly like busy on top of school. I'm not really going to classes or whatever. I'm just kind of messing around. That's why I dropped out. But yeah. So I can't remember if I joined another friend group at this time or no. Okay, so I'm just gonna join the. So I become friends with this other girl and this other guy who's bi. Okay, I went to school with both of these other people. This other guy has stopped being my friend before because in high school he said, "Oh, people are making fun of me because I'm friends with you," so he just stopped being friends with me. It's fine. It's fine. I get it. Homophobic town. It's whatever. And this other girl, we're great. And so let's go back. We're gonna backtrack, guys. I'm sorry. I'm jumping around. I just have to make sure I get the story straight. So this guy, Adam has a lot of emotional issues. I don't want to put him on blast because if he does see this, like I truly wish him like truly healing and like I hope he can heal because he still hasn't moved on from the situation. I just want to talk about it because he has made accusations against me reportedly. So that's why I'm speaking on this. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened that made him. Oh, I think it's because I was always usually the one sitting in the back seat of the car, and he would always be in the passenger seat. Which again, I don't mind. I like to be in the back seat. Like it's like ooh more room or whatever. So I was starting to sit. I can't see. This is when I think I'm also in another friend group because I think I'm spending both times in both groups, but I start spending a little bit more time with this other group. So it's Madison and Adam hanging out a lot more, if I'm thinking correctly, and then I start hanging out with them a lot more. So I'm really back and forth. If I'm remembering correctly, I might be wrong. Please, Madison, correct me if I am wrong. So I start hanging out with Madison and Adam a bit more, and I'm starting to sit in the front seat. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's a seat. We're all going to the same destination or whatever. And whenever we're not excluding him whenever I'm in the front either, we're like, hey, like what's going on? Like talk, talk, talk. And he this day is just not having it. Like he is just like sad. Like it's whenever he was upset, you're gonna know. Like his aura, like his energy will be so thick in the car. It will be like will be a downer. Like it will ruin the entire vibe. It will be a great day, but if he is upset, it'll be known. It'll be known. So I'm like I like to make sure everyone feels included because I know what it's like to not feel included. So I try my best to make everyone feel included. So I can tell he's upset. So I'm like, hey, like, what's going on? He's like, no, nothing. I'm fine. I'm fine. Like looking out the back window, like having a full movie moment. Okay. Swear Bible, not making this up. So we love a good Hobby Lobby trip because there's nothing to do in a small town except for go to Walmart or go to like a small little shopping area that we had. So we're like, oh my God, let's go to Hobby Lobby. And he loved Hobby Lobby. So let's go to Hobby Lobby because like me and Madison, we're just like, we can find any possible way that we can like cheer him up. Okay. So we get there and he's like, no, guys, I'm fine. I'll just wait out here in the car. And we're just like, so now it's like really obvious that he's upset about something. And we're just like, and I really wish I could remember what exactly happened that he just blew up for. I think whenever we got done, we were like, oh, like you should have like came with us, like being so nice. And then when we finally get back to campus and like park, we get into this parking lot. I can't exactly remember what happens, but he just gets so mad for literally no reason and just like blows up. Okay, blows about us, and me and Madison, we're like, what? What are you talking about? Like, I'm trying my best to remember. He gets so mad at something and like storms off, and we're like, okay, whatever. So what I think it is now is that he's just mad that I was hanging out with them again and like talking to Madison because he starts to get very possessive of her later on. So he starts threatening me. So like later on, he's texting me saying how I have animosity against him, how I just have it out for him, like truly just making up crazy things. And I'm like with Madison, I'm like, what is he talking about? Like I'm truly just like no, like not so ever. Like I love our friendship. Like I think we always have great times together. We always like laugh. Like I just like don't know what's going on. So he's just going on, and I'm like, Adam, like I just can't do this with you. Like I really just can't do this because I think little things have like this has happened before, but not to this extent. And he starts like threatening me. He's like, oh, I'm going to ruin your relationship. Like I'm going to all this thing. He's like, I'm going to tell you your ex at the time. Not ex, but like we were dating, whatever. He's like, I'm gonna tell you guys like all this and that, like just makes like crazy things, like truly like just crazy things. Where like at this point, I'm like, I do not feel comfortable even going into my own dorm room. Like I don't feel comfortable being around him because like all these actual crazy things I'm like he's saying. So take note. I go to public safety and I'm like, hey, like I don't feel comfortable, and I show them everything he's saying, and they're like, yeah, we're getting you out of there because these messages, they're like he is possibly a danger, like truly a danger. And they were like, we're gonna get you out of there. So in this dorm building, it's kind of like a motel style. And at the bottom of the freshman dorms, it's like either I think there's an RA room, but it's all mostly storage and no one is housed. Like no freshman is housed on this bottom row of floors, okay? Usually everyone's put in a different room. They're like, for your safety, we're going to put you in a room that like no one's supposed to be in or whatever. So I get my own private room because they do not want me to be like attacked or like assaulted because they're actually like scared for my well-being because of this man. Okay, take note. That's the first thing. So life goes on. Okay, I start hanging out with the other friend group more. I need a name for them. We'll call the guy and the other friend group, we'll call him Mason, and the girl Katrina. I don't know. So I start hanging out with Mason and Katrina a lot more, and me and Katrina develop a very close relationship. Like I think of her as like a sister, okay? Like a sister, like a truly like ride or die. Like I like her and Madison are really up there. Like they're both up there for me, okay? But me and Katrina, Madison, do not take shade to this whatsoever. There's no shade. Like Madison, you ride or die, girl. Die on that hill, okay? Love her down. So me and Madison, I think, aren't hanging out as much, and some time goes on, like we're still all hanging out, seeing each other every day, kicking, whatever. And then so Madison's also joining us or whatever, but I'm like starting to spend more time with Katrina. My mistake. We'll get into that. So it's me, Madison, Katrina, and Mason all the time. Okay, so later on, I don't remember exactly the time frames, but I know Adam and Madison start hanging out again. This is like months go on, and like this, I don't know how that happened. Whatever, I don't care. Oh my God, Madison, please do not take any shade to this. Like I really just not want this to be shady. Love you down, girl. Love you down. I'm just trying to get the story out so people are aware of this crazy situation that we were in and we dealt with together. Yeah, sorry. So they start hanging out more. So they're doing their own thing, and I'm starting to hang out with Katrina and Mason more. So I'm not really seeing Madison as much. Again, this is my freshman year of college. This might be like spring semester. I can't remember. So that goes on. I'm trying to think. Months go by, and then I start hanging out with Madison and Adam again. And they start like coming over, hanging out with Mason and Katrina or whatever. And Mason and Adam have a little history. Mason does not like Adam because Adam has said stuff about made up things. You know, we were just like, oh, like we're not going to listen to him, you know, like whatever. So we're all about giving people more chances. Okay. Yay. Okay. Stupid. So life goes on. I'm back in the front seat. He gets mad again. No. So we have a party. So wait. Oh my God, no, 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 no. So months do go on. Backtrack real quick. I'm remembering now. So this is now the next year. I'm already dropped out of school. Take note, but I live like on the road to where Katrina's dorm is. Okay, so I'm constantly always over there. And then I think sometime in the summer, that's when Adam and Madison start hanging out again. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. So they start coming over, partying, whatever. And again, I'm hanging out more with Katrina and Mason. Okay, we're having a great time. We're kicking, great time, great friendship. Um, we're gonna take a pause on Madison and wait. Something happens between me and Mason, but I do not know when that time frame was. It was during his birthdays. Okay, I don't know. We'll go back to the guy. I think I'm struggling. Struggle bus, struggle bus. Okay, I'm just gonna talk about. Oh yes, I remember. I remember. Okay, so we throw a little cute little party at Katrina's. We're all having fun. We're all having some beverages, you know. So it's me, Madison, Adam, Mason, Katrina. Okay, so we're all having fun little drinks, like you know, we're having fun, kicking, whatever. And Adam is being very strange and like very short. And again, when he's upset, you can tell he's upset, and like you're gonna hear about it later on, you know, because he won't. I'm like, oh, like what's wrong? He's like, nothing. I'm fine. He's like, I'm fine. And it's like we'll just like sit there and just like make it his energy gets off. It's just so just like you know. So of course after that night, he messages Madison on how I am just the worst person to him, how I make him so uncomfortable, and goes on a long tangent on how I was like talking shit about Madison, like literally just makes up an entire stories. Okay, take note. And oh, he also said like how I like try to seduce him, like how I like would try to go in, no, he said this to other people. He told people like how I would like try to go into his bed at night because when we shared a dorm, I said, first off, I never sleep in my own bed. I'm always with my boyfriend at the time. Okay, back, this is whenever we were in school, whatever. He's telling people that, and I'm like, be so for real. Like, he was an attractive man. I'll give him that. He was attractive, but never once did I ever want to sleep with him or touch him or do anything with him. Okay, no, I didn't. It was also so crazy. He was also talking to this girl at one point. I would get her on this, but I made it. We won't. We were not going to deal with it. But there was this girl he was obsessed with. He was wanting to get her eyes tattooed on him, and she was literally scared of him. She said, "Guys, like whenever I like leave this building, he was like parked across the parking lot, like watching the door. Whenever I leave, and then whenever I walk out, he leaves." She was like, "He keeps doing it." This girl was literally. She did not want to go anywhere alone because she was truly so scared that this man would come find her. Adam, truly scared that I literally had a taser. I gave her a taser. I said, girl, like, your safety, like, this man is so crazy. Like, I kid you not, people are terrified of him. Take note. Oh my goodness. Anyways, there was that. We're gonna pause on them now. Well, we're gonna pause on Adam. So now, Madison's like, like, no, like he's just kind of been crazy and like he's just done like other things. So Madison doesn't believe him, of course. Thank God, girl, because love you down, girl. Love you down. You're a real one. So, Katrina, Mason, and me, we are all very close, okay? I can get very emotional about them because our friendship was like, I don't know, that was different. Like I would like, I'd go to bed like early at night so I could like wake up and see them the next day like a lot sooner whenever we would like stop seeing each other because like, I don't, it was just a very like young and free like feeling whenever I was with them, you know? Like we were always just like having fun, like going on hiking and like kicking and throwing like, I don't know, like we were just, and also having a guy friend, it felt like a brother to me. And I've never really had many guy friends in my lifetime. So again, I told them multiple times that like how I felt like family, like how they really like how I would literally die for them, like I truly would. And so for Katrina's birthday, she got really drunk. So me and Mason, we were like, let's go walk to the gas station and we'll go get some drinks and everything. And we're like, okay. So we sat down on a patch of grass. Like, we're like halfway there, but when we like take a break, we sit down on a patch of grass. And again, I'm like really drunk, okay? But I'm still coherent on like what's happening. Whenever I'm drunk, I start to like sway, okay? I like to sway, I like to move. And so I'm staring at these brick buildings, and he's like, we're like talking about something deep, I think. And I'm just like looking, and I'm like, yeah. So I think everything's fine. Like, we get up, go back, time goes on, like, everything's great. And then he tells he doesn't want to hang out with me anymore. And I'm like, what did I do? And he says, he tried to kiss me, and like, I just don't want to give him the wrong idea or something like that. I'm trying to remember. This is like literally years ago. And I was just like, what is he talking about? Like, truly, I would never, especially like try to ruin that like one friendship that I felt so deeply about. And so Katrina, she's agreeing with me. She's like, yeah, like, no, like, that's crazy. Like, and I'm like, I truly would, especially after this other friendship that I just had with this crazy ass man over here. This one was truly very devastating. And I do think about that one a lot. I wish him well. He's definitely said, this guy has said a lot of other stuff that just completely isn't true, and it's not my character. I've had people saying like, oh, what, I won't go into it because that's not something I want to post online, because people who know me will know who this is, so I don't want to go into that. But it's really crazy how people will say such crazy things about you that just are not true and not your character whatsoever. But then I found out that Katrina, because I do adult entertainment for people who don't know, she was like, oh, like, I don't want to be a whore like Gabe. I'm like, oh, okay. So was that. And then I started being her friend. This video just does not, this video's been so long, and I'm so sorry. My audio is probably different now because my audio storage filled up. Losing these relationships have just been such, I think about more, I would much rather lose family that I don't have than lose friendships. And I'm so grateful for Madison for being in my life and for just doing so many amazing things. And she's been with me for thick and thin, truly. And I'm so lucky to have her. But this is just a big shout out to Madison. Truly, I love you, girl, now and forever. Down. But thank you guys for listening to this little episode. I hope it isn't too long. And I love you all. Be good.